Hi, I'm Daniel. Today we're exploring timeless foods from the Bible that may still benefit your health today. From ancient olive oil to nutrient-rich figs, these biblical foods were valued for generations, and modern science is beginning to understand why. Olive oil was one of the most treasured foods in biblical times. Rich in healthy fats and antioxidants, it may help support heart health and reduce inflammation naturally, which is one reason it still remains a staple in healthy diets today. Figs appear throughout the Bible and were considered a valuable source of nourishment. Today, figs are known for their fiber, minerals, and natural sweetness, which may help support digestion and overall wellness. In the Bible, honey symbolized abundance and blessing. Beyond its sweetness, raw honey contains natural compounds that may help soothe the throat and provide antioxidants that support overall health. Grapes were deeply connected to daily life in biblical history. Modern research suggests that grapes contain powerful plant compounds that may help support heart health and healthy aging. Lentils were a common source of strength and nourishment in ancient times. Packed with plant protein and fiber, they remain one of the most affordable and nutrient-dense foods for balanced nutrition today. Pomegranates symbolized prosperity and life throughout biblical culture. Today, they're celebrated for antioxidants that may help support healthy blood flow and overall wellness. Barley bread was one of the simplest foods mentioned in the Bible, yet it provided lasting nourishment. Whole grains like barley may help support digestion, energy balance, and heart health. Fish played an important role in biblical meals and daily survival. Rich in protein and omega-3 fatty acids, many types of fish are still considered essential for brain and heart health today. Dates were valued in biblical regions for their natural sweetness and long-lasting energy. Packed with minerals and natural sugars, they continue to be a popular energy-supporting snack around the world. Goat's milk was commonly consumed in biblical times and provided essential nourishment for many families. Today, some people find it easier to digest than regular milk, while also offering important nutrients like calcium and protein. Garlic was valued for flavor and preservation in ancient cultures connected to biblical history. Modern studies suggest garlic may help support immune function and cardiovascular health when included in a balanced diet. Cucumbers were remembered as refreshing foods in ancient times, especially in hot desert climates. With high water content and refreshing nutrients, cucumbers may help support hydration and overall wellness. Almond trees were symbols of watchfulness and renewal in biblical tradition. Today, almonds are widely recognized for healthy fats, vitamin E, and nutrients that may support heart and brain health. Biblical meals often included herbs and bitter greens that added both flavor and nourishment. Many leafy greens today are rich in vitamins and antioxidants that may help support healthy body functions naturally. While apples are often connected symbolically with biblical storytelling, they've also remained one of the world's most popular health-supporting fruits. Their fiber and plant nutrients may help support digestion and daily wellness. Raisins were used as compact sources of energy in ancient biblical regions. Even today, raisins provide natural sugars, minerals, and antioxidants that can support quick energy and balanced nutrition. Flax was historically used for both food and fabric in ancient societies. Today, flax seeds are valued for fiber and omega-3 nutrients that may support digestive and heart health naturally. Vinegar appears in biblical references connected to daily life and food preparation. Today, some people use vinegar in moderation as part of balanced diets that may support digestion and healthy eating habits. Ancient grains form the foundation of many biblical diets. Foods like wheat and barley provided steady nourishment, and whole grains today may still help support energy, digestion, and long-term wellness. Hyssop was mentioned in biblical purification traditions and valued as a useful herb in ancient households. Today, herbs connected to hyssop are still studied for natural plant compounds that may support wellness and respiratory comfort. Though tiny in size, mustard seeds became powerful symbols in biblical teachings. Modern nutrition experts value mustard plants for beneficial nutrients and natural compounds found in seeds and greens. Clean water was deeply valued throughout biblical history because survival depended on it. Today, staying hydrated remains one of the simplest ways to support energy, digestion, and overall health naturally. Biblical culture, pomegranates often represented abundance and life. Interestingly, modern science continues exploring the antioxidants inside this fruit and their possible role in supporting overall wellness. Many biblical meals were surprisingly simple: fresh grains, fruits, fish, herbs, and olive oil. Today, many nutrition experts encourage returning to simpler, less processed foods for balance. Travelers in biblical regions often relied on dates because they provided quick nourishment and lasting energy. Even today, dates remain a popular natural snack for sustained fuel and minerals. Fish provided essential nourishment for many communities during biblical times. Today, nutrition researchers continue studying how omega-3 rich fish may help support brain and heart function. Fasting appears throughout the Bible as both a spiritual and personal discipline. Today, mindful eating and balanced fasting practices are being explored for their possible effects on wellness and self-control. Bread symbolized daily provision throughout biblical history. While modern nutrition encourages balance, whole grain breads may still provide valuable fiber and long-lasting energy when part of healthy meals. These timeless biblical foods weren't viewed as quick fixes. They were part of a balanced way of life centered around simplicity, gratitude, and natural nourishment. And that ancient wisdom still resonates. Olive trees can survive for hundreds of years. making them powerful symbols of endurance in biblical lands. Their fruit and oil continue to be associated with balanced diets and long-term heart health. Many biblical journeys happened in harsh wilderness environments where simple foods provided survival and strength. These natural foods were often unprocessed, nutrient-dense, and deeply connected to daily life. In biblical cultures, natural oils were valued not only for cooking but also for care and preservation. Today, minimally processed oils remain important parts of many balanced eating patterns. Biblical farming relied on seasonal rhythms, fresh harvests, and natural ingredients. Modern wellness trends are now rediscovering the value of eating foods that are closer to their natural form. Biblical times, meals were often shared with family and community. Research today continues exploring how mindful eating and strong social connection may positively influence overall well-being. Ancient households often relied on herbs not just for flavor, but as everyday parts of healthy living. Fresh herbs still provide natural nutrients and vibrant flavors that support balance. Unlike heavily processed sweeteners, raw honey was treasured in biblical culture as a natural source of sweetness. In moderation, natural sweeteners may fit into balanced modern life. One major difference between biblical diets and many modern eating habits is the level of processing. Ancient foods were simple, fresh, and recognizable, something many health experts still encourage today. People in biblical times naturally ate according to the seasons because fresh harvests shaped their diets. Seasonal eating today may help encourage variety and connection to natural food cycles. As we explore these timeless biblical foods, one lesson becomes clear: health was often connected to simplicity, balance, gratitude, and natural nourishment. And those ideas continue inspiring healthy lifestyles around the world. Biblical mornings often began with simple, nourishing foods like bread, olives, fruit, and fresh water. Starting the day with balanced meals is still considered an important habit for steady energy and focus. Biblical lifestyles were not only about food, they also emphasized rest and restoration. Modern wellness research continues exploring how proper rest supports both physical and mental health. Vineyards were deeply woven into biblical life and symbolism. Beyond their cultural importance, grapes contain natural compounds that continue to interest researchers studying healthy aging and wellness. For centuries, bread making was part of daily biblical life. Whole grains and traditional preparation methods often created foods that were simple, filling, and deeply connected to community. Fruits like figs, grapes, dates, and pomegranates were prized throughout biblical lands for their nourishment and natural sweetness. These colorful foods still provide valuable nutrients today. One overlooked aspect of biblical eating was moderation. Meals were often simple and balanced rather than excessive, a principle many nutrition experts still encourage today. Fishing communities played a major role in biblical regions, providing food and supporting local economies. Fish remains one of the most widely recommended protein sources in balanced diets today. Fascinating how many biblical foods are now being studied by modern nutrition science. While ancient people didn't use scientific terms, many of their eating habits centered around natural whole food. Biblical traditions, meals were often connected with gratitude and mindfulness. Today, many people are rediscovering how slowing down and appreciating food may support healthier habits. So far, these timeless biblical foods reveal a powerful pattern: simple ingredients, natural nourishment, mindful living, and balanced habits. And as we continue, the deeper connection between ancient wisdom and modern wellness becomes even more fascinating. Biblical marketplaces were filled with fresh produce, grains, herbs, and fish gathered from nearby regions. Unlike many modern packaged foods, these ingredients were often consumed close to their natural state. Lentils were among the most practical foods in biblical times because they stored well and provided lasting nourishment. Today, they remain rich in plant protein, fiber, and important minerals. Olive oil wasn't just valuable in biblical culture, it was essential for cooking, preservation, and daily life. Today, many balanced diets still include olive oil as a primary source of healthy fat. Without refrigeration, biblical communities relied on drying, salting, and preserving foods naturally. These traditional methods help maintain nourishment during travel and changing seasons. Life in biblical desert regions required deep knowledge of plants and natural resources. Many foods valued in these harsh climates were nutrient-dense and carefully preserved for survival. A striking difference between biblical eating patterns and many modern diets is the simplicity of ingredients. Ancient meals were built around recognizable whole foods rather than heavily processed products. Biblical celebrations often centered around shared meals filled with bread, fruit, fish, grains, and wine. Food represented not only nourishment, but also joy, gratitude, and connection. Honey harvesting was both challenging and valuable in ancient times. Even today, raw honey remains appreciated for its natural sweetness and antioxidant properties when used in moderation. Whole grains formed the foundation of many biblical diets because they provided lasting energy throughout physically demanding days. Modern nutrition still values whole grains for fiber and balanced nourishment. As these biblical foods come together, they reveal something bigger than nutrition alone. a lifestyle built around simplicity, community, gratitude, moderation, and connection to nature. Small household gardens were important in biblical communities because fresh herbs and vegetables supported daily meals. Even today, fresh herbs add nutrients, flavor, and natural freshness to balanced diets. Biblical kitchens were simple spaces centered around natural ingredients and homemade meals. Many people today are rediscovering the value of cooking with fresh whole foods instead of relying on convenience products. Figs provided quick nourishment and natural sweetness in biblical times. Rich in fiber and minerals, figs are still enjoyed today as part of healthy snacks and balanced meals. In dry biblical regions, wells and springs were essential for life and survival. Clean water remains one of the most important foundations of health and wellness today. Fishing traditions shaped many communities during biblical times, providing nourishment for families across the region. Fish continues to be widely valued today for lean protein and beneficial nutrients. Biblical diets often relied on fruits like dates, grapes, and figs for natural sweetness instead of heavily refined sugars. Many nutrition experts today encourage moderation and more natural food. One striking difference between biblical eating patterns and many modern diets is the simplicity of ingredients. Ancient meals were built around recognizable whole foods, rather than heavily processed products. Bread carried deep meaning throughout biblical history because it represented daily provision and shared community. Whole grain breads still remain important parts of balanced diets around the world. One powerful lesson from biblical lifestyles is moderation. Meals were often built around simple portions and natural foods, rather than constant excess or overeating. These timeless biblical foods reveal more than ancient traditions. They highlight a way of life rooted in balance, gratitude, simplicity, and connection to natural nourishment. And those lessons remain surprisingly relevant. Olive harvesting was one of the most important seasonal traditions in biblical regions. Families depended on olive oil for cooking, nourishment, and daily living, a tradition that still continues. In biblical culture, sharing food was deeply connected to hospitality and generosity. Meals often became moments of connection, gratitude, and community rather than rushed daily routine. Biblical communities carefully stored grains, dried fruits, and oils to prepare for changing seasons and difficult times. These preservation practices help maintain nourishment throughout the year. Pomegranates stood out in biblical lands for their beauty and symbolism. Today, they're widely studied for antioxidants that may help support overall wellness and healthy aging. Many biblical meals were surprisingly simple: bread, fish, olives, herbs, grains, and fruit. Yet those simple ingredients provided nourishment without the heavy processing common in many modern diets. Whole grains helped fuel physically demanding lives in biblical times. Foods like barley and wheat continue to provide fiber and long-lasting energy when included in balanced meals today. In dry biblical regions, water represents survival, health, and renewal. Access to clean water remains one of the most essential foundations of wellness in every generation. Biblical traditions often connected meals with gratitude, reflection, and mindfulness. Many people today are rediscovering how slowing down during meals may support healthier habits and stronger relationships. It's remarkable how many biblical foods align with modern wellness principles: whole grains, healthy fats, fruits, fish, herbs, and minimally processed ingredients. Ancient wisdom still carries powerful lessons. We reach the final chapter of this journey. These timeless biblical foods remind us that health has always been connected to balance, simplicity, gratitude, and natural living. Many people today are searching for healthier lifestyles by returning to simpler, more natural foods. Interestingly, many of those same principles can already be seen throughout biblical traditions and ancient daily life. From biblical ceremonies to everyday cooking, olive oil held a special place in ancient culture. Today, it continues to be widely recognized as one of the most valued healthy fats in balanced diet. Biblical times, recipes and food traditions were passed through generations around shared tables. Even today, healthy eating habits often begin with simple family traditions and home-cooked meals. Biblical lands were filled with colorful fruits like grapes, figs, dates, and pomegranates. These naturally vibrant foods still provide important nutrients and antioxidants that support overall wellness. One timeless lesson from biblical lifestyles is the value of simplicity over excess. Meals were often modest, nourishing, and closely connected to nature rather than constant overconsumption. Throughout biblical history, meals brought people together in moments of gratitude, celebration, and connection. Modern wellness experts continue exploring how strong social bonds may support healthier lifestyles. Today, many healthy kitchens still revolve around foods familiar to biblical cultures: olive oil, grains, herbs, fish, fruits, and fresh ingredients prepared with simplicity. These timeless biblical foods remind us that wellness isn't built on quick fixes. It's often shaped by balance, consistency, natural nourishment, and the everyday choices we make over time. Thousands of years later, the foods once valued in biblical lands continue appearing on tables around the world. And perhaps their greatest lesson is this: sometimes the simplest things remain the most timeless. Thank you for joining me on this journey through timeless biblical foods and ancient wisdom. If these insights inspired you, remember that small daily choices rooted in balance, gratitude, and natural living can still make a meaningful difference today.